Hey guys, it's Logan from Logan Reads and the World of Logan, and welcome back. After a year, I've decided to revive the Logan Reads channel, and we are not re-uploading the old videos because honestly, who can be bothered with all that? I don't have the files anymore. Shh, don't tell anyone. So, we're doing a new series. Logan rereads. Alright. And the first book is The World's Worst Children. This is the first one in the series. And next time on Logan Reads, we have an original book by me. The Britannic book. The Titanic's Tragic Sister Ship. We will be having that one next week. Anyway, World's Worst Children. We will be having a separate video for the introduction of each book. The World's Worst Children by David Walliams. Stunning Pictures by Tony Ross. Contents: Dribbling Drew, Bertha the Blubberer, Nigel Nitboy, Miss Petula Perpetual Motion, Peter Picker, Windy Mindy, Grubby Gertrude, Brian Wong, who was never ever wrong, Ernest, Sophia Sofa. It's been over a year since I have done this series. Last time I sat here was to eat me tea the other night. No, that was on the other side. Dribbling Drew. Once upon a time, there was a boy named Drew, who dribbled a lot. This wasn't just normal everyday dribbling, the odd globule of gobgloop running down your chin. Oh no. This was dribbling on an industrial scale. Here was a boy who could dribble litre upon litre of dribble every day. Now you may wonder why Dribbling Drew dribbled so much. Well, it was because he was like me, incredibly lazy. He was an incredibly lazy individual. If he could, he would sleep 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And as Drew snoozed, he drooled. Bloop. Bloop. Went the drool as it landed on the floor. On school mornings, the boy would have to be dragged out of his bed by his feet. If he had his way, Drew would be wheeled to school every morning in bed. And as soon as he arrived at school, he'd go straight back to sleep. Bloop. 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 Drew liked nothing more than having a nice long snooze during his lessons. He'd even been known to take a sleeping bag into school. That way he could snooze through every single subject. PE was a hard one to sleep through though. But Drew found a way. For example, during football matches, he would ask to be in goal and then climb up onto the net and have a nap. If any of the kids scored a goal, he would moan if they celebrated too loudly. Yay, goal! Because Drew slept through every lesson, he found himself at the bottom of the class. That is a place you don't want to be. Kill kids. That's a place you don't want to be, children. At the bottom of the class. When Drew snoozed in lessons, he would dribble all over his desk. Give that man a napkin. Bloop. 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 The dribble would trickle down to the floor where a large puddle of drool would collect. If the lesson was dreaded double history, the dribble would end up as something as a pool. No one knew what was in Drew's dribble. It was transparent like water, but thick and sticky like glue. One time his history teacher, Miss Parks, fitting name for a history teacher, I would say, ran over to Drew's desk to shout at him for falling asleep in class again. The unfortunate lady slipped on the dribble, shot across the floor, and flew straight out the window. That can't be good for you. She was found upside down in a nearby hedgerow with her tweed skirt over her head and her big frilly knickers flapping in the wind. The day our story starts, there was a school trip to the Natural History Museum in London. This was a wondrous place full of all sorts of treasures from moon rock to dinosaur skeletons. The museum even housed a life-size cast of a blue whale. As Drew's class pulled up outside the museum in the school coach, Mr. Nummings, the science teacher, handed out his dreaded worksheets. Now, listen carefully, children. On these worksheets, I want you to make a list of all the exhibits you see in the museum today. Do we have to, sir? Moaned dribbling Drew, stifling a yawn. Dozing off on the couch for an hour had tired the boy out, and now he was ready for bed. Yes, Drew, we do have to, yelled the teacher, and I want you to stay awake during this visit. Mr. Nummings turned back to the rest of the class. Now, everyone, the pupil who routes down the most exhibits will come top of the class. So keep looking out and listening out the whole time. Right, out you get. As they walked in through the museum's giant wooden doors, all the children marvelled at the huge skeleton of Diplodocus, which took pride in the great hall. But Drew simply yawned. Then he broke away from his teacher and classmates and found a nice, quiet place to nap. It was on top of a glass housing a glass case housing a stuffed dodo, a bird that had become extinct centuries before. But no one would disturb it up there. Drew used a giant stuffed giraffe as a ladder. He lay down and closed his eyes. Then the boy slept and slept and slept and dribbled and dribbled and dribbled. The boy could sleep absolutely anywhere. Standing up during a rock concert, hanging upside down from a tree, even on a roller coaster, as everyone around him screamed. This particular day, Drew slept so long that he was still asleep when the museum was locked up for the night. Without anyone realizing, he was there when all the lights turned off. Hey! Who turned out the lights? Turn them back on. Thank you. Whew. That was weird, wasn't it? All night Drew slept and slept and slept. As he slept, he dribbled. Bloop. dribbled and dribbled and dribbled. Then he dribbled some more. The spot of drool beneath him spread into a puddle. Soon it was a lake of spittle. By dawn, Drew's sea of dribble had filled the entire Natural History Museum. In the morning, Winston, the burly security guard, arrived bright and early to unlock the doors and open the museum, as he did every morning. However, this was no ordinary day. First thing Winston noticed was a transparent fluid oozing underneath the doors. That's very strange, he thought out loud. Maybe one of the daft old professors has a detector in him. Next, the security guard dipped his toe in a boot in the liquid, and he realised it couldn't be water. That can't be water. From a leaky pipe. Whatever it was thick and sticky. Worried that the museum might have been flooded, Winston flung open the giant wooden doors as he could. Nothing could have prepared Winston for what happened next. Whoosh! Ah! I was just washed over by a wave. The big man screamed like a baby. A tidal wave of drool washed him clean off his feet, and he found himself travelling at the speed down the street. Imagine waking up one morning and be like, what's that noise? Everybody run! Closely behind the security guard floated some of the biggest exhibits from the museum. A stuffed polar bear, a life-size cast of a blue whale, even the Diplodocus skeleton. They all bobbed along the streets of London on this rushing river of dribble. Atop the glass case that housed the dodo was Drew. In all the commotion, he had finally, for once in his life, woken up from his long sleep. I wouldn't say long sleep, I'd say like 16-hour coma. As he floated down the road, the flood of his own spittle destroyed everything in its path. Cars, lorries, even buses were swept off the ground and began bobbing along the colossal loops of drool. Imagine just living in London then and just hearing a massive whooshing sound. And then a million and one things just casually spilling down the street. I don't think I'd be too impressed. Drew leaped off the glass case and onto the roof of a nearby building. From that safe place, he watched more of the exhibits from the museum pass by. Giant bird eggs, a stuffed gorilla, a model of an elephant. The boy reached into his blazer pocket, and he still had the worksheet his teacher, Mr. Nummings, had given him at the start of the school trip. Drew made a note of everything he saw. Every single exhibit from the museum floated past, and he wrote them all down. Here is that list. Mars Rock, a Neanderthal skull. A marble statue of Charles Darwin. A very, very big squid. A stuffed vulture. An earthquake machine. A model T-Rex. The list went on and on. A seahorse pickled in a jar. A model volcano. A fossil of a prehistoric fish. A spacesuit. A stuffed giraffe. An old lady clinging onto a shopper. Hang on, that's a real old lady. A model of a woolly mammoth. To his credit, Dribbling Drew spent hours listing everything he saw as the gushing river of drool swept all the museum's precious exhibits out to sea. The next day in class, Drew proudly handed in his worksheet to Mr. Nummings. Aside from a couple spots of dribble, it was perfection. After looking through all of his pupils' work, the science teacher announced the results. I can reveal that the winner is, with 100%, is Drew, said Mr. Nummings. The boy was top of the class for the first time in his life. I'm glad we got a good... oh, wait, no, we got one more page. Oh, before he was promptly expelled. As a punishment for destroying literally everything in the museum, Drew was put to work there. His job was to reassemble the Diplodocus skeleton that had been recovered from the bottom of the ocean. He was not to stop this giant jigsaw till it was finished. Dribbling Drew didn't get any sleep for the next 10 years. Ooh. Right. Well, guys, what did you think of this week's episode of World's Worst Children? If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Logan Reads on YouTube. And I will see you next time. Bye!